Hello, Armando. This is Dan Brown, Simply Local Search and Social. I wanted to shoot you a quick video that goes over some of the research that I've done on the websites that you suggested I take a look at for you. I'm going to point out some things that I think would be beneficial for you and things that will sort of preset time when we get together to talk about these things. So the first site you asked me to look at is your MagneGas site. It's a nice, updated, modern site, mobile friendly. The only thing I would say here is your phone number on a mobile version is not click to call. It's there, it's large, it's easy for people to see, but it would be much better if it was a click to call phone number, so that because so many searches are done on phones these days, people want to be able to just tap that number and have it automatically ask them if they want to dial it. So that's the one thing I would do there. The next page we want to take a look at is your ESSI page. Similar, nice, updated, modern site, mobile friendly. Again, the phone number is not click to call, so that's the one thing that I would change there. The other thing that is confusing to people is here under core capabilities, where it says welding equipment and welding supplies. It looks like these are clickable buttons. They react when you hover over them, but they don't actually take you anywhere. So I would recommend either changing those so they don't feel like buttons to people, or actually have them go to the different topics that they talk about and that they reference. Related to ESSI, a couple things I wanted to show you in terms of search. When you search for welding supplies Tampa, Florida, the first thing that comes up is what we call the map pack. This comes from your Google My Business listing. You'll notice that you are not in the map pack, which is really the first place that people get seen. I did some research. I won't show you the graphic, but there's about 30,000 searches a month done in the U.S. for welding supplies. So showing up in these prime locations could really make a significant difference for your business. You are ranking well in Lakeland. You're ranking well in Clearwater, not in Tampa, which is a huge market, and also not in Spring Hill. Here's welding supplies Spring Hill, and again, you see you're not in the map pack. In fact, one of the challenges that you have is because these come from your Google My Business listing, I couldn't find a Google My Business listing for your Spring Hill location. So there's no possibility that people will find you in this section. And if you scroll down quite a ways, your Clearwater location shows up 15 in the map pack, and you're further down here. Here you are in the organic listings. So unfortunately, people don't scroll down very far. They pick some of the first things that they see. So those are some recommendations on that particular site. You also asked me to look at the Green Arc supply site. Site also is mobile friendly. It really could use some 2018 updates. Again, here would benefit from a click-to-call phone number, and there's no updates in 2018. As we move towards the end of 2018 here, it looks like the site just hasn't been updated and taken care of. So it's easy for people to get that opinion from it. The other thing, I see that you have multiple locations. It really benefit to have each individual location have a separate page on the website. It will help you with ranking. When I look at some of these areas, the Shreveport location, if I do a search for welding supplies in Shreveport, you're not there again, because there isn't, I couldn't find a Google My Business page for this business for Shreveport, and similar for Dallas, because they say on the web page that they serve Dallas, Fort Worth, which is a huge area, which would be important to rank for. When I do a search for welding supplies, Dallas, Texas, this doesn't show up again in the map pack because you don't have a Google My Business page, which would help you get there, which is one of the first things that people see when they're searching for things like this, and so it's one of the first things they click on. So you'd really benefit from an updated site here with location-specific pages. The other site you wanted to look at, and I'm going over these quickly, just kind of giving you the highlights of it, is Trico Welding. And one of the problems here, if you just put tricowelding.com in, you end up with this basically error message, confusing page. If you don't put the www.tricowelding in, which a lot of people don't and won't, the fewer barriers you have to people being able to enter and access the information you've got on your site, the more important it is. So that's a setting in your DNS settings on your domain registrar page. So it's something that would be important for whoever's doing the web work to take care of. This site, the site is not mobile friendly according to Google. It's dated. It looks like nothing's been done on this since back in 2014. It talks about the pig feed, and looks like it's a great fun event, but there's nothing updated on here past 2014. So again, the site just looks like it's not being maintained, not being updated, and people pay attention to that. Another problem that you have on this particular page, if you go to the contact page, and if people were trying to contact you, there is an error in the CAPTCHA, and so people can't enter the text because there is no text showing up. So there's no way for them to be able to submit a form if they want to get more information from you about this particular company. Again, pretty significant problem that would be important to have addressed. And lastly, the last site that you want me to look at was CompleteWelding.com. Google says it is a mobile-friendly site, although there's a bunch of pages that couldn't be loaded. Not user-friendly, in that you have to click a button to even enter the site. Again, the fewer barriers you have to people being able to access your site, the more important it is to let them come in and access it. On your location pages, on the U.S. side, if I click any of these, you'll see that there is an error when it's trying to load the Google map page. So somebody not keeping up with this and making sure that the page is functioning correctly and that these pages are working well. We've got a good idea here in having a separate page for each location, but really lacking on content, really lacking on information about what all is provided at that specific location. So really benefit from having this site updated as well. Lastly, if you go to the product page, you'll see this error showing up all across the top. And so, again, it just shows a lack of professionalism. It will impede people's confidence in the site and that it's operating correctly and functioning correctly. So, just a few things I wanted to go over with you. Again, it's so important to be showing up well in the search results because there are so many searches being done. And for the most part, other than Clearwater and Lakewood, there's a couple of places where you are showing up well, but by and large, you're not showing up well. And so you're missing out on a lot of business that's being done online because of that. We'd love to sit down and talk with you. Let me know when you're available, and we can go over this in greater detail. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks, Hermano.